And we are back again. It's Ghost and EG fighting in a opening quarterfinal matchup as both teams look to prove that they are the better of the two newer teams into the playoffs. And we'll see which one's going to end up taking the cake as we will look at the map pool for this series. It should go to a certain direction. I believe we're going to go see Breeze. That's a map that Ghost has been so ridiculously good at.
Yeah, I mean, they've been fantastic at all maps. Like, this team is
true.
just straight up good, and I think it plays so much into, they are so tactically sound, like you were saying, Bach, right? They can sort of plug and play so many different elements of that raise fade composition on virtually any map, and that's what allows them to just pummel teams regardless of map choice.
Yeah, for Ghost Gaming here, they will take that Breeze selection off the rip. Evil Geniuses will take us to Icebox. It's been a map that's been pretty good for them thus far. I've liked the composition they've been playing in towards that one, but still, like you were saying, Ghost is comfortable pretty much everywhere. I think this is a map that they will be expecting to come into the pool and should be prepared for. Split will be that decider.
Yeah, I think it's also really important you ban Haven. I'm surprised it actually made it to second phase, although Ghost do love Breeze, of course, but Ghost have the best Haven in NA. I will say that. It has been absolutely disgusting to watch, but again, these are three different maps where I think Ghost just has... They're just so good, right? Like, regardless of map choice, I always knew, or I was always going to have Ghost as the favorites coming out today, but it's Icebox that has been EG's playground throughout VCT. The exploits that they've been able to figure out with, like, the wall pen through tube onto topside B, like, it's just awesome. So that map is the one that I think EG have the best shot with.
But at the same point in time, EG is a team that has been interesting to watch in the way they prepare. I feel like Ghost kind of generically prepares to play. They just play their own game, and they do it so well, so why would you blame them? Whereas EG seems to come at it from like a counter-stratting perspective almost, or coming up with a lot of creativity. There's a lot of interesting plays like the wall bang and tube on Icebox that you're referencing. Is there a world where EG can do that again here against Ghost?
Well, I'm curious because it's a bit of a kiss-curse situation for EG, because I think against FaZe in particular, you talked about their loss to them, like they fell in and played more FaZe-esque style. So I think here again today, we're going to see that raise fade head up against each other. Maybe not for EG on every single map, as they have been favoring the Sova here, as well as the KO as pretty standard stuff over from them.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they don't change compositions like a team like Icebox does, or like Icebox, like Optic does, depending on their opponent, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because the micro switches and how they play things in the early round switches up quite a bit. We won't see that raise fade combo here, but Koala Noob's Jet has been absolutely nasty on Breeze in particular. The way he aggresses with Nismo, especially in space in mid. On their defensive side, look, the second that EG is taking space, there'll be a push up from an extremity. It's really tough to play against.
Yeah, and what you can expect from Ghost, they're starting on attack, but when they do move over to defense, they do like to stack pretty heavily towards one of the two sites, B or A, and play pretty much full retake on the opposite side, maybe have a chamber or jet with an operator, but as soon as they take that first shot, they fall back and play for the 5-player retake.
Well, I'm being told that the game is ready and we've got our casters standing by. It's Dust and Shift to take us into the action.
Thank you, friends and family. Yeah, we're pumped about this one. Hey, here's the good news for either team. Icebox obviously was good news for EG, but you got to get through this first map with some contest here, Dust, because they won 0 rounds offensively versus FaZe, and after all of the 9-3 antics that we had in our first series, that was actually the demise of Evil Geniuses when they played up against FaZe. They had a 9-3 defensive start and then got 0-10 swept when they moved to the offensive side.
I mean, honestly, though, going up against Ghost when it comes to the map pool is kind of a pick-your-own poison. They have the best map pool in North America. I will stand by that. They have over a 70% win rate on every single map except for Fracture. And Fracture, they're 5-1 in their last 6 games. So it's like, where can you really take them when they're banning out Bind? I mean, there's just not many options. And by the way, Ghost currently on an 18-game winning streak on Breeze, and they're near 65% win rate on both sides of the map. So this is going to be a very uphill climb for EG.
But it has to get off to a good start in the pistols, and especially throughout this entire defensive half. First point of contact for Reformed. Okay, that works out well. Flash peek as he comes on through. Not going to be avoided by the majority of Ghosts, and the trade's decent for EG in the initial fight.
Yeah, EG doing a pretty good job here playing these forward positions through A-halls and just not letting Ghosts really get set up and start rolling out their strategy. And that's really well done for Evil Geniuses. And I hope that's a trend we're going to see, because Ghost is a team where if you give them that initial space and that initial time to kind of orchestrate their playbook, they are just so darn good at just the fundamentals of the game, the team play. But in particular, what I like about Ghost is their tempo changes they can orchestrate throughout the course of a half. Like, they're very good at just out of nowhere blitzing you, or, you know, then playing the slower pace rounds kind of in the middle of the half, you know, just kind of always keeping you guessing what their timings are going to be. So if you're EG and you're able to play that forward defense and kind of disrupt that a little bit, get that early information, and kind of dictate the pace of the game in your own right, that's kind of the tools that you need to succeed.
Well, and just to kind of take that trademark and maybe even push it a bit further, that was how they beat Optic. I mean, Optic's initiators had limited to no success through a lot of that series. So yeah, trying to replicate that would be key for Evil Geniuses, trying to steal away what has been Ghost's bread and butter throughout not just this group stage, but also through qualifiers and just the entirety really of 2022. But
yeah, I mean, obviously Proto's been kind of a new pickup since April, but the rest of the team's been together since the beginning of the year. Obviously, some of them go back longer than that with the organization, and yeah, Breeze has just been a constant for them. You know, it's just something that they can always rely on. Again, 18-game winning streak, nothing to shake a stick at. One of the best streaks we've had in North American Valorant history, to be honest. So we'll see as they do find themselves on the back foot here coming this second round. They will make their way towards the orb here at Long A. All 5 of their members gathered up here, though it seems like we might see a little bit of a late lurk from a Proto and A-Halls, perhaps looking to try to find their way in. This defensive Viper wall kind of blocking their way out the Ks. A great frag that comes in as well, and Reformed will pick up off the back of it there. So doing a good job here is EG at getting a read of the lay of the land and shutting down this push.
Now the flash comes through, as that is going to find so much information off of the 0 point. On top of it, EG have fully rotated defensively, expecting this hit to come out. The timing of this for Ghost is going to be pretty hard-pressed. Someone's got that shot, and, well, it's not going to be qualitative as he will drop instantly off of Boostio's Headhunter. Not a lot of time to play with here. Com's going to peek on the backside of this defensive toxic screen and have no problem with all of the help coming through. Great control from EG as they go up 2-0 early.
Indeed they do. Just kind of following in line with what our, Des was talking about, is that Evil Geniuses has been the best North American team on pistol rounds by far.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they were like on a 15 or 16 pistol round winning streak at one point during the group stage or something along those lines. And I want to say it's like in the high 70% range of success.
77.5.
Yeah, it's just bonkers. I think they're way out in front in that regard. So that's exactly what they needed to do, was bring that strength to the table, as I think they come in as the slight underdog, particularly on this map, to get that 2-0 start and try to use that to win this bonus, as they are going to have an operator in Boostio's hands, not just a Spectre. So they definitely have some big weapons to play with here.
Yeah, getting value out of these rounds is going to be key for Evil Geniuses, who statistically have not been necessarily great in eco-disadvantage rounds. Quality, a little bit of trouble taking care of Jawjimo, but plenty of help on the top to make sure they can secure first blood. It comes at a bit of a cost, though, as far as health is concerned, and Ghost is actually going to pay respect to the fact that they can't go any further forward.
Yeah, good little opening pick there at middle. Again, Ghost very good at playing these defaults out, playing the mid control, kind of slowing things down and just playing the fundamentals with just their trade efficiency and spacing. But again, look out throughout the course of the rest of this half of them to bring those pacing changes, and that's really where they can start to unsettle Evil Geniuses. They start picking up the pace at times, but right now just kind of use that opening pick to now pivot over towards A side. They have A-Hall's, presence being held up by John Cutie. The rest of the team starts to form up over at AK, so look for this A hit. But there's a pretty formidable defense in place on site, so this may not be, the egg they thought they could easily crack.
Yeah, really good stuff with Com coming forward to delay by way of the recon bolt. John Cutie in the middle of the map may have been the opening, but it's not going to happen, and now it's just essentially spammed through the toxic screen. 3-for-1 the initial exchange. Apoth helping from afar. Reform still holding his life, which is great news for EG's defense. Brock would have to hit some incredible shots at low HP. And, well, he's going to get 0 pointed out, and there's really nowhere for him to go, especially considering the time. And I'll say this much here, Dust. This is great news early for EG, because it looks like Ghost want to try to isolate Reformed, who's been their statistically worst player defensively, but he's held on nicely with a 5-1 start for EG.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, you're no doubt about that. I will say one thing kind of surprising is while Reform's numbers have been a bit down kind of overall, he's actually number 3 in 1vx percentage. So he's actually been really good in those clutch moments, which kind of stands to reason he would be able to make smart decisions on anchoring this A side. That the timing of that fragment and 0 point placement, kind of using that Viper wall as kind of an extra buffer to kind of play behind. And, they've been doing a really good job shutting down this A side so far, but looks like they should be able to get this 4-0 hot start here, as Ghost obviously not much to work with on this one. Looking like they want to pounce on this B site, though, as everyone seems to be gathering up in this direction.
well, top trying to spam down the Aldrone. He'll actually take the benefit of spamming through the Aldrone and taking down Koala Noob in the same moment. So Evil Genius's initial hold looking pretty solid as far as the numbers are concerned. Some space given, but really not too much to worry about. Outside of the fact that the defense is a little slow to rotate, largely speaking. Com trying to create a little bit of space, and how about it? The pistols are working out pretty nicely. Gonna activate Com to move on forward, which he's really not able to successfully take down as many kills as you would anticipate. And just like that, weapons collected and Ghost find themselves in a 2v2.
Busio, though, has been he's been so patient in that area, waiting for an angle, waiting for someone to cross by. Finally, it happens, but a Proto actually wins to fight. Apop, though, trying to come in, the new pickup right now, able to win the 1v1. It actually takes the whole darn thing. And so Evil Genius is not going to give Ghost an inch there, and that was such a big team effort. I mean, so many different players involved on that hold on the A side, but it's Apop who picks up the clutch. Again, he's a guy that stats don't jump off the page a crazy amount like a Bustio or a Jajimo, but I feel like everyone's been kind of keeping their eye on him as this upcoming controller player in the region. He's had a lot of praise from some of his, colleagues, I guess you could say, in professional Valorant, and that was obviously a big-time moment for him there.
So now up 4-0. This is a really important round in the scheme of things, and not for Ghost's perspective in my mind, but actually from Evil Geniuses. Ghost is one of the best statistical teams when they have full buy purchases.
Yes.
But as far as Evil Geniuses are concerned, you win this round and keep Ghost from keeping themselves on full buys, you'll be able to kind of take some eco advantages here early. So it's going to be Ghost very quickly with the Viper's Pit in support of a B plant, looking to set up a post plant situation with EG looking to retake.
Yeah, it's going to be all on the EG retake at this point, 5-5 to be exact right now. They are going to have the null command from Reform as a bit of an option to help this along. Jajimo looking to see if he can get a little bit of extra out of this, but eventually has to pull the trigger there onto Nismo. It's a great opening kill, actually staying alive somehow for quite a bit, but a Proto eventually able to clear them out and get back into equal footing, but it won't last for long.
Reformed will fall. Bustio still able to connect, though, to get the trade out of John. So down but not out yet is Reformed, and Khan looks like he actually wants to play for a little bit of the revive. Hunter's Fury to stop the defuse from coming out. Going to work out well to create a little bit of extra space throughout this Viper's Pit, which has been pretty difficult, honestly, from either side's perspective, trying to track down these players, but time will become the biggest opponent here for EG on the retake. They will be able to save the op and one rifle, but it's Ghost who get on the board.
Indeed. Yeah, as we were kind of talking about, Ghost one of the best teams when it comes to winning full buy conversion. They're actually #1 in that category. Also #1 when they have an economic advantage, and they're top 3 in full versus full buy rounds. So this is, where Evil Geniuses might excel when it comes to pistols and ecos. I mean, Ghost really excel in kind of these more equal footing economic situations.
Absolutely.
Have the overall best round win rate of any team in the groups. So looking to kind of just pave that one forward as they finally get their first round on the board. A little bit of a cold start here for Nisma, I will say. Don't usually see him this far down, but what I will say is the times I have seen him like this, he usually makes a recovery at some point. I mean, you even saw it happen on this very map in the group stage.
Really no command going to get popped to force an entry over into A. Respect given by EG, going to back off just a touch. Recon dart will be deleted as the spike is planted. Now it's once again going to be tested onto EG. How do you set up a retake? Aldrone was still being able to be used. That'll sneak out Koala Noob, and all the trades should be there, but no! Reform misses a key 1v1, and Koala Noob will keep his life, and he'll have a little bit of safety to get out of dodge for a time. Jajimo on the rotation back on in, but EG are hard-pressed to find much space, and how about Koala Noob? He stays alive in a pivotal 1v1 and turns his life into 3 total. Now it all falls onto the pop-off player of Jajimo. Operator in hand. It looks like he may just back off, trying to save the weapon. Yeah, sure will.
Yeah, indeed, but not going to be allowed to. John QD cuts him off there from double doors, and now Ghost are starting to find that rhythm that we're so used to seeing on their Breeze attacking side. Again, they came into this thing, 18-game winning streak on the map, 66% win rate on the attack. Had a little bit of a cold start with EG taking the pistol in the opening buy round, but now they've strung together a couple in a row, and like you said, Claude is such a big part of this and such a tight spot here at the pyramids, but able to just patrol around for the eventual hat trick before succumbing to the snake bite there, but gave his team plenty of breathing room. And now the economy of Evil Geniuses is starting to get up against the rope, but they do have enough for a buy here, and Jajimo pulls out the Blade Storm. What can he find?
In my mind, you have to win this run for EG. You cannot allow Ghost Gaming to snowball with full purchases from what has been one of their best sides overall when it comes to total map mode combinations. Flash on the corner, nothing there, and the forward positioning here for EG will be nice to kind of try to get some sense of what's happening over at B, but honestly speaking, with the noise being cut here, Ghost have completely graded down.
Yeah, again, Ghosts are so good at just these tempo changes throughout the course of the half. They're really good at, when they feel like they need to play a bit safer, a bit back, that Evil Geniuses might be going for something aggressive with that Blade Storm there, but it's to kind of sit back and anticipate that pressure, and then just kind of slowly work together as a unit to start clearing the space. As we are going to see them kind of just sitting outside B right now. Jawjimo still trying to play that forward angle right now at elbow, but no one's really giving him a look just yet, but that's about to change as they push forward, but they find the entry clean. Reform now feels the pressure, tries to drop the fragment to slow down the attack onto the B side, but it's to no avail. They find their way on anyway. He does get the kills to Qualanoob. He's buying time for a rotation, but Ghosts still have control of this site.
These flashes can help create a little bit of space here for EG to get back on and try to set up at least some sort of a post-plant foil, but once again, not quite able to finish off the eliminations in front of them. Brock and John on 1 HP are able to survive. But as you get calm on the way back in, maybe a chance to still stop this plant from coming through. Time becoming a bit of a problem. Reform able to clutch up on 1v1, steps away from Brock, and that will be good. Classic in hand. It's Reform for 3 in the back of the site, and the must-win round for Evil Geniuses comes out.
Indeed, it does. Look a little bit rough at first, but you have to, credit them for just being able to stay alive on the side, particularly Reform, just buying that time, getting it back into a 4 versus 4, allowing that flank to start to set in. And while APOS certainly had a bit of a tough moment while he was swinging in the site, kind of lost a couple of duels, the rest of his team was able to pick up around him and make some big things happen. And again, I think the biggest thing that's great about this is that Reform's having a hell of a game right now up at 9
really
frags. Oftentimes, this Evil Geniuses team has very much been the Jawjimo and Boostio show, right? I mean, both of those guys are, kind of within the top 10 of ACS, Jawjimo being number 2. Also, both of them kind of in the top 5 when it comes to things like, first bloods per round and kills per round and KD, all those good things. Like, that has been the dynamic duo of Evil Geniuses, but you're seeing Reform just play so intelligently at the back of this site throughout the course of the round. Winds up with a hat trick. Make that a quad to get the ultimate W, and I mean, this has been interesting to watch here, to see EG really stick it to Ghost on their map pick.
Absolutely. It's because of all of these little things here and there when we talk about, not having to rely on Jawjimo essentially going rogue, doing whatever he wants, or on the opposite side, trusting that Boostio can solo lock down sites. The fact that you're getting this from Reformed is one really big key piece to the puzzle here for Evil Geniuses if you were to want to take this map away from Ghost. On the other side, you want to talk about, just kind of the other angle of the sword here. Nismo has found a single kill so far.
Yeah,
so who has been our #1 statistical player throughout North America so far in this group stage has been Nismo, and he's been a little bit empty at the moment.
Yeah.
So Ghost, once again, going to get pushed back just a touch. Evil Geniuses happy to take some forward map positioning.
That's a really good point you made. I will say we saw this happen to him as well against TSM on this exact map, and he wound up making a comeback with his visual form kind of halfway through the game. So definitely has shown the ability to not let the stats early on shake him, keep his composure, and still come back and have impact. But
huge pick.
He's running out of time to do so here, as we are seeing EG again playing that forward defense right now. Qualanoob, though, is able to catch APOF in the A-halls. He's going to pick up a weapon. He's able to start charging forward. That's going to prompt the Caves players to also make their assault here on this A side, so the split is fully underway. We are going to see that Hunter's Fury, though, come through as well.
Oh, man.
Trying to slow this attack down, but Qualanoob gets in such an interesting position. But will it matter with this EG flank getting so much damage done?
That is so good from Evil Geniuses to clear out the space, and now it's really just on to Qualanoob to open up. Over back around the back. Reformed looking to chase. Not quite able to track down Qualanoob. But has he maybe guessed correctly on this timing?
This is such a wild
angle. No! Oh, man. Oh, it really was, Dustin. First and foremost starts with Qualanoob. Very appropriate that it also finishes with it.
I mean, he was basically a decoy. The spike was actually going back to A anyway. Like, that was, I thought they were going to pinch and come back onto B and play the 2v1 from there, but that was a wild series of events. But in the end, able to get the job done is Qualanoob here with the Blade Storm. Key entry there onto APOP. Gets into the back lines when things start getting tough on the A side of the map and finishes it off there in the end. And that's going to keep the score close, and in fact should get even closer as EG on just Sheriffs for the most part here. They do have the one ult on Reformed, but it's really about it.
Oh, quick isolation of Reformed. He will drop. Jawjimo able to at least put together one trade, but that will completely open up the B site. Boostio once again trying to play for a quick flank. And his timing may allow an opportunity for one if he can avoid the trademark that's sitting right in front of him.
Yeah.
Looks like Khan is trying to join him or Dust. This is all got to be a post-plant foil from the backside of your EG. Yeah,
it is just this double flank that's really going to have to get things done. Trademark's been destroyed, so Ghost, of course, privy to this very movement right now. Owl drones dueling against each other for information through main. Nice little entry there from Boostio with the Headhunter. That could give them a little bit of space, but that Snakebite will slow them back down.
It also gives them a weapon to play with, but as you'd mentioned, time is becoming a major adversary for EG. Well done with the shock darts coming out of Brock. But even with that, kills are starting to come through. A punishing round here for Ghost, but the numbers still controlling enough. Apoth, the last one left, and what is a 1v2 players, but a 1v3 against the Spike as well. And it's Ghost right back in the mix. EG looking to get back into a full versus full round here in round 10.
Indeed they are, but Ghosts have fought themselves back into contention. They've been able to play from behind and now put this thing right back on the table. But EG, again, look at their distribution right now. The fragging's coming from everyone. They're getting just great performances, and again, we're still waiting for Nismo to kind of arise, but everyone else on Ghost are starting to find their footing as well here and starting to make this a close contest. And again, we're starting to see Ghost bring out some of those pacing changes. That was just kind of a dry, fast B hit. Now it looks like they want to test it again, but this time with some added utility. But, oh, that found everything.
And now you have to kind of be a bit cautious if you're Ghost. Even attempting to re-rep back over to A, and look what Jajimo's doing. He's already going to take the space. There is a forward wall.
There's
just
no
to
reason
try to
not
help
to.
him to make sure that A's not here. And yeah, it's absolutely a well-positioned defense for Evil Geniuses off the early 0 point.
That's the thing about Ghost, though, is like even though they're very dynamic in what strats they can call, you will often catch them doing like these 5-man group ups occasionally. And so if you can find it early in the round, it just gives you such a good lay of the land. As now they're looking to hold off the speed push it again. Reform trying to slow things down with that fragment. Calm playing the close corner, able to get one. Reform trades off the back of it, and it's getting shut down pretty well.
Oh, super well done from Reformed once more, but Proto is able to turn this still into a 1v2 situation. He popped in the corner, will take him down and make sure that there are no clutch situations here. It's just, man, I cannot state it enough how impressive Reformed has been in this defensive half so far for Evil Geniuses. That one by way of, again, delaying and also getting the null command into play to allow his defense a chance.
Yeah, he's had so many multi-kill rounds on that A side, or B side, excuse me, but also just the timing, you know, just shutting down the timing. Again, Ghost is normally a team that prides itself on, you know, their spacing and how they come in and trade, but they're kind of getting ripped apart by some of this utility. And again, just the fragging is looking superior from Evil Geniuses so far in these key duels on the site. And now, once again, looking to get a little bit aggressive here over on this side. Reform this time doesn't catch anything with the 0 point. Pop flashes, though, and still finds a frag.
Can't get out, unfortunately, but still, the 1-for-1 is okay. Boostio, feeling like he's got a buffer in front of the B zone, will pick up the rendezvous and then just hoof it back to the back of the site. Once more, you see the aggressive defensive toxic screen being put down for EG. Jajimo unable to play forward in through the vents because of it. And you're going to have, once again, Calm, the player, in position to watch the cross to make sure nobody hits through mid. This is a pretty comfortable setup in a 4v4 for EG.
Lucio's been detected, though, by that Owl Drone. They know that the Tour de Force is indeed guarding this B side, so they're kind of being a little bit more timid on how they want to approach main. They're trying to push forward with some utility, try to shake Boostio, but he's holding his ground firmly. Nismo gives him a tough little headshot angle to deal with there, kind of pushes him back. Meanwhile, the rest of Ghost starting to kind of retreat back into middle. But again, Jajimo has this A-Halls control, just like he had last round. Didn't really play into the round previously, but it very well could now. As Calm may also find himself something here. Oh, that's a check. Oh, yeah, he does right at the last second. That's a big catch for Calm.
30 seconds left.
Now the Recon bolt immediately behind this. It will not tag, but it will once again make life difficult for Ghost as they try to rotate. But they have snuck through. The only little hole in the defense would have been right here, but Apoth up top, good for one. Trade will be there. That'll allow an opportunity to plant, but the numbers stay with EG for the retake.
Yeah, but look at this. Jajimo is going to get uncontested. That K is able to step out. He nails Nismo to the wall with that headshot, leaving it down. All the Brock with low HP, and while the Spike is down, little else is going his way, and he will not last long. Boostio hits him hard, and wow, EG are putting together a hell of a defense right now.
And The thing about it, which has been the most extraordinary for Evil Genius, is you compare to this EG team to what they were able to find success with playing up against Optic and how they were able to win. It was shutting down the initiators before they had a chance to really even execute. That really hasn't been the case. Ghost have had the ability to get their setups and hit the go call, but EG have done a really nice job of keeping it one-dimensional and just delaying. I feel like every time we see a hit come out of Ghost, it's labored and toiled just by the fact that we're getting so much great utility for Evil Geniuses.
And again, this is a team, Ghosts, that are on an 18-game winning streak on Breeze, and they very rarely find less than 7 rounds in the attack. I think the worst attacking they have had have been their most recent games against TSM and 100 Thieves, where they got 5 attacking rounds in both those games, but their defense still got them the W in the end. So there's a chance that EG might give them their worst attacking half they've ever been dealt on this map this whole year.
Yeah. And hey, just looking at the weaponry coming in, of course, you've got John on the tour de force, but Brock is only going to be relying on a Hunter Fury Bulldog combination. So as far as the full round statistics, or full buy round statistics, we should say, for Ghost Gaming and how good they've been, they really haven't had a chance to play with too many full-on purchases. So
sure.
Another kind of check mark put onto the boxes of what the win conditions would be for EG.
Again, EG have been disruptive when they needed to. They've used early information well to push the opposite side of the map when they found the bulk of the forces. You know, they just really done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And again, you got to give a lot of credit to Reformed and how he's anchored that B side in particular. But, I mean, really, when anyone's been called upon, they've been able to hit their shots, as we are going to see them now pivoting this time a little bit of a faster A play. But once again, some disruption from the snake bites and the recon bolt. Hunter's free, though, trying to peel Apoth off the site. Certainly going to find the tag, but Calm trying to put some chip damage in through the toxic screen, and Reformed able to get a frag there.
30 seconds
But watch out for Quality Noob. Nobody's actually watching this double doors position. The recon bolt's going to find 2. Fragment on top of this. It's good isolation of the site for Ghost, and it works out clinically, leaving Jawjimo down to a 1v4. Maybe an opportunity, but shut down. Nismo comes to life when mattered most, and thus the question would be, is that enough for EG before we send it to a break?
Switching sides.
A 7-5 half for Evil Geniuses, coming out of the defensive side looking mighty fine. And thus the question still just has to be, though, maybe some time to answer it this time around, is that enough, though? Because Ghosts are still just as good, if not better, defensively on this map.
Yeah, I feel like you meant for me to answer this before we went to break, but I totally had the wrong read of the situation. But I will try to help you out now with that answer. And the answer is this has been enough for Ghost their last couple of games. I mean, they only got 5 attacking rounds against TSM and 100 Thieves and still ultimately won. And again, we know that EG had the big goose egg attacking side against FaZe on this map and their last time that they played Breeze, so they're going to need to turn that thing around.
Oh, but EG, as we had mentioned, nearly 78% win rate on pistols. Looking good for it off the initial trades, but how about the response from Ghost? The utility in the mid-map. Nismo starting to get back to life with a double from front side of cave, and now Jawjimo is stuck into 1v2 with just 22 health remaining.
Yeah, he is in a very tough spot right now, and also with 9 HP. He's been found out. He does not have spike possession. He's not even close to it. I mean, this is pretty much a sealed round. Will be one of the rare occasions EG do not convert the pistol. Unless Jawjimo goes nuclear.
If we've learned anything about Jawjimo this group stage, is that anything is possible with him. But
I mean, he is basically the number 2 behind Nismo in most categories.
Yeah. Well, we'll find number 1 initially, but can't quite lock down the shots. And it's Nismo for 3, and Ghost, a massive pistol, foiling one of the EG's big win conditions largely.
And that's huge to get Nismo going early in the second half. Again, had a kind of a sitter in the first half, but this guy across the group stage, number 1 in ACS, number 1 ADR, number 1 kills per round, number 1 in 1vx percentage. So he's giving it to you on both ends of the spectrum because he's also tied for second in first bloods per round. So he's just been insane in all aspects of the game, late and early round. And so to see him be able to get that triple kill, to kind of get his numbers back trending correctly is a big moment for Ghost to start this comeback.
EG, though, still throughout eco rounds, the losing pistols have been good, and it's a really solid first blood through halls. Offensive toxic stream coming out, a lot of pressure onto Proto, who's only able to get 1 snake bite out. Jawjimo makes life even more difficult. With Quality trying to rotate in, he'll be denied, and that's just perfect isolation of the site for EG. Should be good for a plan.
Yeah, indeed it will be. Nismo and John QT in a tough spot here. Just that Spectre on Nismo. Headhunter for John QT does spot one over towards Kays, but unable to land the mark, and now his position's been found out. Nismo trying to flash his way through onto site, but again, there's just so many members out in front of him. He's found one, but can he keep it up? Has a chance there against the Jet, but misses. But now look at this. John QT gets into the fold.
Once more, it's reformed in the opposite side. EV clutch once again. Quick peek coming on the backside. As Nismo in the same breath was able to take down Jojimo. But no, not going to happen. The 1v2 will not be finished off. And EG, it's just, whenever they've got pistols in hand, you may as well give them that 77% win rate statistic. Good on the bounce back. And now all of a sudden, eco advantage to EG.
Yeah, again, #1 in eco win rate. Not just pistols. And there's an example of it right there. A huge win to get to not let Ghost start building that momentum early in this comeback attempt on the second half. We are going to see Ghost thought for a second about investing there. We did see the Stinger come out for Koala, but it looks like he sold it back, and now just will take the Sheriff. Other than that, it's going to be basic pistols here, except for a Ghost by Brock. So a big chance for EG to extend that lead.
And it's just John defensively at A here. Ghost kind of stacking the box over towards B. Aldron will likely be the first thing in and will also likely be the vanguard for the entire push. And so will be the case. Aldron will take one side, Boostio the other. But John's able to get one and get away. A massive pick that'll leave numbers advantages plus the opportunity to try to trap EG, at least in some regard, on top of the site.
That's very true. No flanking option, though, here for Ghost. They're all coming through spawn. So with A halls being controlled by Evil Geniuses as well as Kays, and they have their flank covered, they just have a little bit more ground to work with. Jojima, though, kind of on an island up close on yellow. Needs to be real careful here, but he's getting some support from Reform. As you said, their fragment going to help kind of cut this up a little bit, and they're able to bounce off of it.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautifully done. Last one to find is Brock. Will be tagged up. And really nowhere to go. That is just unbelievably calm and collected from EG. I mean, you mentioned it. There was no flank coming through, but EG had to actually commit members to watch in the back because Boostio was down. That trademark was inactive. The fact that you get a double team setup over from the front side of that A post plant is great news for EG. And now you get into a full round bye.
And again, if you're going to have Reform playing like this, when you've already had the consistency of Jojimo and Boostio, who have been kind of amongst the top 10 players in NA all through the group stage, I mean, all of a sudden you're cooking with gas at that point. You know, you combine out some of their creativity that we've seen at times. I mean, this is looking real good for EG right now. But back to a full buy is Ghost. Their chance to contest. And they kind of need this one, to be honest.
Yep.
If they go back to saving and EG maybe jump up to 11-6 because of that, that's a long road back.
Well, Koala did at least catch a look at Apoth. Hard to say if he was able to see Jojimo or not, and it looks like just based on Jojimo moving very quickly forward, the answer very well may be no, he didn't see me. So a forward position over through A halls. Spike still leaning over towards Cave, and honestly for the defensive Ghost, outside of the toxic screen, there's really not even the ability to delay this too much because they have to worry about this hall's position.
Yeah, definitely a lot of attention being pulled to A-Halls from Brock due to the pressure that's being put there. This recon bolt's going to give him a little bit of intel there. Jojimo has been found out in the corner, but knowing is half the battle. Some shock darts will come out, trying to do some damage, but doesn't really hit Jojimo up too much. He's still fairly healthy here, still playing this corner, and he gets the shot onto Koala to make matters worse for Ghost. And now he can just fade back. His job is done. Nice push there from a Proto to equalize it, and now we got a 4-on-4 coming up.
Yeah, required kill and required reposition out of Ghost to make sure you can keep halls in your favor. EG now running on in towards site just with the toxic screen to disguise this hit in some form. Apoth looking for maybe a late hit over towards the hallway, but Brock is ready for it.
What a read.
He's actually going to take a play a little bit even further forward. It's all about can they find this pick. Fragment comes down on one side. Reformed is blind. He's actually going to take a ton of chip damage off of this. Has to give up his position, and the wall's not going to get up in time to save him. So really for Ghost, the retake's looking solid. The only thing that can really foil this has come from the side, only able to take down one. And as Proto gets it to halfway, Nismo will bodyguard for the double. And that'll be enough to get the defense back to 7.
Indeed, it will be. And again, you have to give a huge amount of credit to Brock and company re-clearing the A-Halls after Jojimo's initial entry. That was making things dangerous. But a Proto and Brock, they combined to get that frag back, get it back to equal. Then they get it into a 4-on-3 pretty quickly thanks to Brock. And on top of that, he re-hits the recon on A-Halls and detects that potential flank from a Proto, and it gives them, just kind of an understanding of how things were being set up and to be able to play off the back of it. So really well done there. Zat is going to draw this thing even closer.
You have to think key round right here again for Evil Geniuses, just due to the fact that Ghost statistically, when they've got the ability to the steamroll and snowball out with full purchases, they're the best in North America. So this is one of those other rounds for EG that you have to be putting a lot of focus in, not just because you've got a full buy of your own, you've got a lot of ultimates to play with. Aggression from Evil Geniuses through the middle of the map, but largely that was given away. Ghost happy to concede it, at least for now.
Yeah, they're just letting Koala kind of play K-Solo with the operator. A lot of faith in the Proto to hold this door, and well, he's lived up to his responsibility with the double there. A little bit of a miss from his opping teammate, Koala, but he stays alive with 5 HP. Starting to back off out of the decay, and continues to hold ground right now, buying time for his teammates to start rotating as he plays between the pyramids. Nice flash, though, from Reformed. We'll get that clear, get them the sight, and equalize it back to a 3-on-3 as the spike goes down.
Shock Dark on the way. Null Command gonna get spent, but John will still shut it down immediately. So 3v2 situation. And Com, who's already spent the Hunter's Fury, only has Shock Darts and maybe Snake Bites to delay the potential defuse. And Com's gonna go for the backhand side. He's gonna find one for free. 1v1. It's a massive one to the backside of the site, not gonna work out. So now it's just down to Apop. No more Snake Bites to play by. It's both players taking team shots, but it's Apop with the opener and the second! A huge Red Bull clutch for Evil Geniuses! A must-win round goes their way, and they grow their lead to another 3-round differential.
What a big win for EG. It seemed like Ghosts were going to pull off that retake, but again, it's Com with this reflank through double doors, gets a kill. Apop in the 1 versus 2 comes up huge off the back of his Snake Bites and just finding the 1v1s, isolating them, and getting such a key victory. Now they stay out in front, and the economy of Ghosts and tatters at this point. Marshall out for Brock, a couple of upgraded pistols. That's really about it. Other than John QT able to get out that tour de force.
How about this play from Ghost? Not only is it the tour de force, but you're able to sneak forward into caves and likely be able to get quality to pull out the blade. So kill potential is in the mix for Ghost. The question just comes down to, do you trust your read so far? Because at the moment, they're gambling correctly with this rewrap back to B.
Indeed they are. I mean, EG is certainly focused up here. I mean, again, just with a Proto having this deep cave position, it gives them a little bit more flexibility. Blades are out. The backup John Cutie's tour de force, and they're in the right place, as you were kind of indicating. Now it's just about shutting the attack down.
It's very far forward. Toxic screen. Now the Viper Pit coming through. It's going to make life very difficult for the tour de force to happen. And as Qualadube falls, it's just on largely the snipe pressure out of Brock and John. Able to connect with one, but not a second, is the chamber of Ghost. Now for Proto and Brock, it's just down to, can you maybe sneak away or kill or two? I mean, Proto's really not even here yet. There's so much green smoke to work through. And now just on to Brock. Nothing to happen there. And EG take a key win once again. That much closer to stealing away Ghost Gaming's map pick.
It's just that 1-2 punch of Jajimo and Boostio, man, just coming up huge. Again, Boostio, even though he plays that chamber, the guy is number 2 in first bloods per round and number 6 in first blood success rate. He has found a way to, on the attacking side with chamber, still be able to find the entries, even with the sniper in hand. When you think you're more going to be holding angles while maybe your jet kind of goes forward and takes up space, and that's something that Boostio just still feels comfortable with. I mean, this is a guy who used to be that entry duelist for this team before Jajimo took over that role, and so he still has that fearlessness when you need it. And that's one of those things where you kind of drew the short stick. Like, you hit the site that was stacked. You have daggers and a tour de force up against you coming into the site, so it's almost as if you're not really even facing an eco anymore, yet they're able to just kind of tag team together as they've been doing all group stage long together and just pave the way forward. And now they're up 11-7, forcing a timeout out of Ghost, who are running out of time and cash to figure things out here on their pick. Again, this would snap an 18-game winning streak. The last time they lost this map was way back in February to FaZe.
No, it was totally different roster at that point in time.
Yeah, exactly. Too, so this is getting pretty crazy.
I mean, it's just the simple fact that, as far as the map statistics are concerned, Ghost is one of the best defensive teams on Breeze, period. In the group stage, they had a 71% defensive win rate. So it's crazy. I think just to see that EG is able to find this much success. Especially considering, with the desk had brought it up, like Ghost has been one of the more tactfully sound teams in North America, where EG has kind of gotten by, so to speak, off of individual pop-off moments. Now this time Nismo, trying to catch Calm off guard, but the duel is backed off on, and we stay 5v5 early.
Indeed we do. Dodgeball getting eat behind enemy lines right now, putting that pressure on, does a lot of damage to Brock there. Contains A-Halls, has Busio for support as well. Really putting a lot of attention here on the site.
Well
now
done.
they get the entry there. Again, Busio with the entry, with the Tour de Force. I know, the aerobatics to dodge. All of that Hunter's Fury, but now Nismo pops off and that's spiked down.
Yeah, that's actually great news from Ghost. Keeping the containment of A-Halls, even though the bootstraps of Jojimo were able to just barely get out of the world of hurt from the Hunter's Fury. But EG are a bit trapped inside A-Halls at the moment. Jojimo, good piece of timing, opens up some space around the back. But the question still remains, can you isolate Nismo from the front? Apoth will give it a go. It is able to successfully take down a kill, now turning the numbers from a 4v3 to a 3v2 the opposite way.
I mean, that was the thing. So much attention was at A-Halls, but Nismo held his ground at caves and got spiked down. Such a big moment for him, but now they've cleared that with Apoth. Jojimo's out onto the site. They have the 3-on-2. Jojimo gets himself another trade, able to dash to the pyramids and use Apoth to get the crossfire. And that's EG now at map points on the pick of Ghost. Their bread and butter map of Breeze is about to get, I don't know, man, to get singed around the edges a little too much in that toaster.
Bro, EG last week found 0 rounds on attack versus phase.
Not only that, but their overall attack win rate on this map is like 46%. It's not
super low.
Anything impressive. Granted, they haven't had to play a lot of attacking around some of their Breeze games. They would just have like really strong defenses, just close on offense without really too much play in some of the open qualifiers. So maybe that number's a little bit skewed, but yeah, it's not been something you really think of them as a super strong Breeze attack team, but they're doing it today.
Man. All of the keys towards EG stealing this map, condition-wise, have been met.
I can't use that.
Small delay out of the snake bite, but Jojimo still just runs through it, dude. Just no regard for his own life whatsoever. Nismo will drop after the null command was spent. Proto in trouble, but sustains. Can he do any more, though? That's the real question. Snake bite over the top of the double-sided box. That will vulnerable up at least a couple of players. And Quality on the long flank may be able to entrap this, especially with Nismo being brought back to life thanks to John. And it looks like the isolation will work out. Calm does have the spike and tons of time, though, so a 1v3 is definitely possible.
It is possible. He's going to run out into middle where 2 defenders are waiting for the cross. They will detect this. While they miss their shots, they have the read. Calm just trying to hightail it over to B to at least get the spike down for economy's sake. Maybe even pick up an ore to build up that Hunter's Fury. But winning the round is definitely a far cry away, especially with Ghost gathered up together as a unit coming through main. Even delays the spike plant, gives Ghost even more time, and that will be wrapped up by Ghost. I think there was just a little bit of an off time in there. While Jojimo went so far forward, he didn't really have anyone there to trade him. And so when he goes for that second frag onto a Proto and it doesn't quite pay off, there's just nothing left to keep the pressure on the A site. Meanwhile, you're seeing flakes coming out from Ghost through caves. It was just looked like a little sloppy there from Evil Geniuses.
You can respect the idea of doing something a little bit different, though, and trying to keep the tempo up, especially if Ghosts have had a hard time trying to deny opening attacks so far for EG. But timeout will be taken, and things will surely start to come to the conversation front of how do you extend this another 4 rounds if you're Ghost, because EG should still be fine economically after the last handful of rounds they put together.
Sure, they have a little bit of cushion here. And again, they have been on quite the pace. Ghosts have never connected 2 rounds in a row this half. I mean, they've all been on an island.
Yeah.
So if you're EG, you're feeling like everything's going fine. You just need to, keep things calm. Ghosts, for the meanwhile, need to win out 4 in a row to force overtime. Great first step there, sure, but they just looked a little bit flatter than usual. I mean, again, this is a team that all, 4 of their players are top 5 in cast or something like that? Or top 7?
4 out of 5 are in the top 7 for cast percentage.
And so what that kind of tells you is that that's kind of a stat that just kind of tells you how good they are playing as a team. How they get assists off each other, how they trade efficiently. But that's just not happening this map. On a consistent basis. Again, they've just looked a little bit flatter than what you'd expect. Meanwhile, EG firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and it's just for what it's worth, it's just all of the things for EG that have gone right have largely been off of just keeping the real estate of the map in your favor, but also keeping the clock in your favor.
Sure.
Especially from that defensive half. I mean, Ghost just felt pressed almost every single time they were trying to make a move.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this all unfolds here in round 21. Kuala Noob trying to contest early in the Hells, but Jojimo is right on the corner. And if this 1v1 goes the way of Jojimo...
Oh!
Do you force it? Do you force it? Oh, they force it!
Oh, he gets away. He gets away. He dodges the shock dart with the backwards tailwind. Hunter's Fury, though, will find him out from Calm. So finally taken care of. EG get it back into a 4-4, but certainly Labor. They have A-Hall's control. They're looking to split this site. And
Wow,
they catch
dude.
Proc in transition. Such a quick peek there from Apoth. And now it's all on a Proto stuck on the site. He's been detected. He's flashed. He's seeing a snake bite, probably not even realizing it just yet. Finally gets a frag. He's been whittled down so low.
How appropriate it would be the #1 statistical player in North America that would now have to 1v3 to extend Ghost Gaming's map pick. Spike planted. No more ultimates to work through. It's just Nismo versus the world. Tons of utility in his pockets. Maybe a chance to isolate, but no! Calm! Takes the 1v1 at range, avidly watching the flank. And Dust, it's just, how? How has this happened? From a team that was so individually minded, now all of a sudden to beat Ghost, not just at their own game, but on their best map? Call me surprised, because I absolutely am.
Yeah, again, 18-game winning streak snapped right there before your eyes on the map pick there of Ghost on Breeze, and a big statement from Evil Geniuses early on in this series to show that, hey, you know, we can hang around with anybody. You know, they've gotten some upsets. They've had some cool wins throughout the group stage. They've made a huge turnaround since last stage, but Ghost looked like one of the superior teams in the whole darn bracket, and Evil Geniuses just stole their map pick away. What a brilliant move to kick off the playoffs.
You needed to see Reform play well, he did. You needed to stop Ghost from getting economical advantages, they did. And a little bit icing on top of the cake, you also made Nismo look a little less than stellar. So it's EG, up 1-0. We'll send things to the break, and the desk will be back to break it all down. Don't go too far.
These players could have gone in.
Oh, Kuala Noob! Try and catch this one. The timing is potentially there, but no. Tour de force in hand. Boostio now swinging out.
And welcome back to the NA VCT Dusk as you take a look at the Red Bull fridge. That's what they're going to be dipping their hands into after that first map, as it is EG who comes out on top over top of Ghost. It was what we were asking ourselves coming into that match. Can EG do what they've done all throughout the group stages, which is best an opponent on a map where maybe they have less of an advantage? It's not typically a map they play in. That's what ends up happening.
Yeah, and this is a Ghost Gaming that just came off of absolutely thrashing 100 Thieves on Breeze, a map that looked good for 100 Thieves. So I think EG sort of came in, found a lot of good openings. Like, make no mistake, Breeze is one of those maps where it relies so much on like finding good timings through luck, through game sense, but EG were constantly able to sort of find a lot of those weaknesses, especially in the first half.
And I think in that first half as well, a lot of things that were working so well for Ghost Gaming in that series versus 100 Thieves, or in that map versus 100 Thieves on Breeze, started to slip away from them. A lot of it was kind of Kuala Noob playing that roam, getting space in towards halls, being able to create space, but EG was so good at denial in that regard. Some players, they were just excellent on the anchor. I thought this was a pretty standout game for Apoth, even if it wasn't the craziest on the scoreboard. He was providing consistency, shutting down for any of the plays that Ghost wanted to make.
Yeah, and Ghost is a team that is so successful at finding first kills by using those good utility combos.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, Breeze is one of those maps where they have to rely a lot more on like the raw gunplay of the Jet and the Chamber, and sometimes like you just get bested, whether it's the opponents finding good windows against you. There also were some moments where I think Ghost could have done a better job using utility to support their contact players of the Jet and the Chamber. Maybe Nismo was jiggling an angle when he had the flashes up. So there were some small moments like that I think could have been improved, but overall, EG, especially once they moved over onto attack, like this team was always putting pressure down halls. Like, go back to stage 1. Potter told us so much about those Among Us halls looking very sus in the gameplay, but the ability to put pressure in halls and win out often creates so much pressure on the players anchoring into the A site, and that's how EG were able to get in a lot.
And beyond that, it was just the continued aggression out of EG. Even when they had space on the site, you would see just round after round a player continuing to charge forward, taking more and more space. For Ghost, it felt like they were suffocated. A lot of their setups are kind of relying on this Nismo KO being able to kind of use that to power their retakes back on in, Koala dashing in, but so many of these players were lost early on their defensive side that they struggled to work back in those rounds.
And one of the things we loved, you had mentioned it there, was the way that Ghost works together as a team.
I'm no Smix. I just dropped my pen. I don't know if anyone saw that. I'm going to call myself out. I wish I was as cool as her.
You can still bite your pen.
We saw a little bit of that in your cold open, the pen biting.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, makes you look real smart. Do it again?
No, I'm not going to do.
Dr. Ender.
All right. But seriously, looking at the way that Ghost plays, they kind of work best when they have a certain composition, and you were mentioning it. They don't really have that in the first map. They don't have the fade, which is one thing we love to see how they work the fade in combination with the raise. Now we're moving into our second map. Our second map is going to be Icebox. Are we going to potentially see a compilation of agents that works better for Ghost than what we just saw from them on Breeze?
Yeah, I think Icebox is a map that they can control a little bit more than a map of Breeze. You definitely can still play the fade and the raise and work effectively with that. But I think overall, like, that was a map that Breeze, I hate to say it, but like, even though Ghost have been so good at it, we've seen so many great teams falter on Breeze on the day, whether it's the wrong read or whatever. And like Nismo, you think back to some of the great performances that Ghost had on Breeze, it was like really good flash timings of Nismo catching multiple players that got them a lot of space on the attacking side. So even though I said like before the match that Evil Geniuses, I think their best map here in this pool is Icebox. This is not a free win by any means for Evil Geniuses. They are going to have to fight for this.
And I think that the Breeze is one of those maps that can be very much, if a player is having a really good day, they can take over because there's so many more opportunities to just push forward versus a map like Icebox, a map like Split, where those utility combos can completely shut down.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, sorry, that map doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. But here on Icebox, I think for EG, they were showing some innovation. They were showing some new ideas in the past. We had really hyped them up for that. But I'm actually hopeful that they might bring us something new. While they had those cool ideas, it was still a pretty basic comp. They're still running both the Jet and the Chamber on this map, which at this point I'm not a huge fan of. I think the teams that have started to pivot on over to more Sentinels, more of that European-style Icebox, have been successful. We just saw that in our first series of the day.
Yeah, you mentioned that, the potential for a change. Is that the change you want to see? You want to see more Sentinels brought into the fold, potentially a Killjoy like we saw earlier today?
Get rid of the Duelists. Duelists are gone. Unless it's Raze. Raze is still valid. Raze is still okay. I think if you can play the Chamber in that role, you can flex on in the Killjoy on this map, keep the Sage around. She's pretty much a necessity even to this day. But there's a lot of room for creativity. Your defensive sides get such a great boom. And as well, when you're playing on the attack, the post plants can be fantastic. I think teams that bring out creativity in that way can really put themselves ahead on this map. I wouldn't be surprised if either of these squads made that change.
All right, well, we do have the agent select ready, so we'll take a look at that as well so we can see if we're going to see some of these changes come in. We already saw a couple teams kind of throw us for a curveball today, looking more specifically at that first map in the first series where 100 Thieves brought out a composition that we hadn't seen in the past. Now we'll see if we're going to see something from either of these teams that differs from the norm as the agents do begin to get locked in. Ender, just initial thoughts as we see it come through.
We're gonna be seeing more of the same. Nismo, this is one of the couple maps like Breeze that Nismo just really likes to play that KO, and you know, catching a Jet or a Chamber on a good timing, finding a Viper, like all of these teams can be very effective at shutting down the hits. But these are about as standard as you can get these days in terms of like overall compositions are concerned.
Yeah, I definitely like what Ghost is bringing to the table. I think Nismo on the KO, he was one of the standout moments for them, even in map number 1 when they were struggling. And I think here the aggression on the defensive side, especially in the late round, you'll oftentimes see him kind of flash a player down into mid, hold an angle there with the Chamber of Koala Noob. It works really well to cut rotates and force EG to play into a bit of a more linear style. And also, Nismo is just really good at the agent, so on an individual level he can provide a lot of value.
I'm told statistically he's a great player, and speaking of statistics, we talked about it coming into this, the one that Ghost had one of the better map win rates across the entirety of the group stages, and we'll see if they can again find success here as we move into our second map in the series. They need to find a win here to force things to map number 3. It's going to be Dust and Shift to take us into the action. It's all yours.
Yeah. The map flexibility, I don't know what that was right there, Ender, but You looked good doing it. That's
I was trying to eat Bach. It didn't work. The man dodged me. What an absolute legend. He's just got the speed, the reactions just to get away from that. We'll work on that later.
Before we got just visually impaired by the desk, that, you know, hey, now all of a sudden we talked about it a lot, about Ghost being one of the more flexible teams in overall map pool. Time to put up or shut up, essentially, because you got EG on, by far, one of their best map mode combos in this entire stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, their Icebox has actually been really darn good since they brought this roster together in April. 75% win rate. Their 2 losses are in double overtime to FaZe and double overtime to Cloud9. So even when they've lost, they have been absolutely impressive. They're near 60% on both sides of the map. So this is definitely a map they're going to feel very much at home. But Ghosts are no slouches on Icebox. They're also at 75% on the map for the year.
Yeah, definitely some formidability for both sides, that's to be sure. And I think it's also important just to kind of note, like, as mentioned, Ghosts have largely deleted the Jet out of their compositional favor in trying to get the Raze involved, but in this time, it's going to be Nismo sticking with the KO. So I'm looking for a 1-for-1 here, comparing the last map to this map. Nismo has to have a good map right here for Ghost.
Yeah, again, he was like one of the few. I mean, that was the crazy thing about him, is not only was he #1 in almost every category in North America, but he was also the only guy who wasn't a pure duelist or chamber in those categories, basically, you know, playing a lot of KO, and now you're seeing him play KO the entire series so far. But yeah, right, definitely a cold start on Breeze. We'll see if he can pick it up here, starting out in the defense, as we are going to see some B pressure from Evil Geniuses coming through long, with the bulk of their forces just leaving that Viper behind, as well as that trademark watching the A flank. Make their way over to yellow, no problem. Owl Drone leading the way. Snakebite to kind of slow down the typical plant spot. They're just going to push towards the back end anyway. And look at this, the distance they're getting. Oh my God, Block had no clue.
How about it? Jajimo just immediately bursts forward past the toxin screen, and now all of a sudden, how do you even retake this? I mean, you're only saving grace as that Proto is still kind of in the mix, so to speak, but he's blocked off by a barrier orb. Oh, and he's able to actually catch up Boostio before he can rendezvous away. But the problem about this is, even if Ghosts start to find eliminations, you still have to work through a funnel, essentially, on the backside of this barrier orb. The flank is in. Ghost a bit trapped. A barrier over their own will create a little bit of extra space, but Jajimo's quick to be over the top of this play, or is he? Nismo with an elimination will allow the defense to move forward, but the problem the whole time was, how do you get here in due time? And the answer is you don't. EG staying resilient throughout their pistol.
Dude, Jajimo is a freak. Just unreal, dude. Like, again, he has been one of the most impressive duelists in North America, making that role pivot onto this team earlier this year while they were making all their changes to the lineup. Obviously, he, you know, had been a part of the team for a little bit longer, but now he's just fully, you know, embracing this role with Boostio, fully embracing the chamber, and the guy just goes all the way in behind, flanks around Kitchen, gets his 2 kills, but often than that, outside of the 2 kills, he just buys time. Like, he doesn't give them any comfortability to try to go for any sort of start on a defuse.
Yeah, it's a really solid setup. I think just kind of how things were good for them in map #1 and what very well could be win conditions for EG here on map #2. Recon Bolt through the backside of the A site. Defensive toxin screen will put a little bit of a dividing line here into A, but largely speaking, no problem for EG, because once again, it's Jajimo who's taking high ground positions on the Raptors.
He has, finally gets caught by John QT there. Might be a weapon. Actually, no, I don't think it dropped on their side of the wall, so they won't have it.
Boostio grabbed it, yeah.
And so they're able to just to back off now, and EG to just continue to play the post plants here on the back of the barrier. There is an escape there with the rendezvous as well, and so Ghost, while they're getting space, they just don't really have a way to get this defuse off.
The thing about this is, if Ghost can find these kills quickly, they will be able to hold numbers, because there's a long flank coming out of comp, but he's not quite here yet. EG need to hold on. Now finally, yeah, why not? A little bit of Asuna-inspired rope play coming out of Apop, and EG will be able to take the second round.
Did you see that he was also diffusing the spike on the rope? I don't know if you noticed that. It was between the 2 barriers, and, you know, in the one hand, you think maybe that would help him kind of avoid any type of utility that would land on the ground. But it also made his head easier to spot when EG goes back on the site through the ropes. I don't know if we catch that, but it almost kind of backfired on him there, honestly. Made him easier to hit as they were coming across.
That little bit of extra delay, once again, puts EG in a great spot to just overwhelm in and around the spike plants. This time Ghost. Really good setup from Nismo early to deny early plays, but
What
again, the
the
quick
heck?
aggression out of EG, just right through tube. No one is able to find a trade. No one's even in a position for it. And a key position around Kitchen now goes the way of EG's offense, forcing John to have to put together a defense single-handedly.
This is unreal. Busio
Wow,
on the
dude.
hat trick right now. Just brought, dude, they literally ran through everything
Yeah.
and just didn't give a flying you-know-what about any of it. I mean, really, they ran through a fragment. They ran through some other detection utility. I mean, they're just bulldozing through. And then they eventually get the trade due to the 2 push around the back of it. Brock trying to make a miracle happen
Okay,
here. Does
hold
get it
on.
into a 1v1, so maybe, just maybe, there is a little bit of hope, but that Spike's in such a dangerous position. He has no
Yeah.
idea where this last member is.
And Com can see this in certain regards just by spamming. Yep, there it is. Good timing, just making sure that Brock
Wow.
had to make a hold, and goodness me. I mean, the biggest thing when I was looking at this matchup was for EG, you got to get up early and stay up early. And they've been able to do that now for 2 maps in a row to start off this series.
I mean, they're starting to approach like the 80% mark on pistol win success rate, by the way. Like,
Yep.
it's been just kind of unreal. They came into the 77% from the group stage, and they're just adding on to that with these hot starts each and every time. It's just been so uncanny of them. And now they're about to have another 4-0 start. This is the exact same thing that happened there on Breeze. They had a 4-0 start.
Yeah. Unreal stuff, man. Honestly. It
They just
comes
hit a
off
whole
of
other
week.
level than playoffs.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is week 5 was like, oh boy, EG, like, are we going to be able to see you really put together much of a fight? And the answer so far has been a very convincing yes. Opening trades coming through. Jojmo once again able to avoid the Hunter's Fury. Nice response from Nismo up top looking for the double, but it's the classic of Jojmo that keeps the numbers with EG's offense, bro. What is happening?
Not only did he dodge the Hunter's Fury, that was almost secondary to the attacking position he put himself in the midst of all that. Like, yeah, sure, you could say really cool updraft combo to avoid Hunter's Fury, stay alive, but he also got forward with that, winds up on top of yellow, and gets a bunch of entries at long B. I mean, just, the dude is just on another level right now. And again, he was already one of the top 10 players with Boostio in NA for the group stage, and he's just continuing to push it forward.
Man,
He's just, I mean, no fear in his eyes, dude.
none. Absolutely. I mean, that's to be kind of expected at this point after watching him over the course of this year at least, but
But it's also kind of neat because some players, when you get to playoffs, they start to shy away from,
yeah.
you know, that aggression and that confidence. You know, again, this is a team that was 0-5. They didn't even think of playoffs last stage, but they've, again, made so many changes internally, and they're coming in with this swagger about them, man. Like, they don't even care that it's playoffs. Just another game for them, and they're doing so well.
Well, Turtle's been completely trapped onto site. Brock next to him will also drop. So once again, defensively in the opening engagements, Ghost have come away with absolutely nothing, so to speak. Turtle, though, still has actually stayed through this. Maybe a chance, but Jojmo still reads it for the second kill. 5v3. Koala can find nothing with the opening op shot, and that's going to lead to an EG plant.
Spike planted.
It's just the speed at which EG are hitting right now is just so chaotic and so successful. Finally, Jojmo was silenced, though, by Nismo on this rotation, but Reformed, who was such an anchor on the previous map, living up to it here yet again on the site. The post plant finds himself a second on the Koala. Now it's just up to Nismo. While he will find Reformed, that spike has not been touched, and Calm is still lurking around. They
shot
have
darts,
no
too.
idea where exactly.
Not going to use them, though. Wants to keep his position concealed. Nismo expecting the peek, but he actually looks away at the exact wrong moment. And Calm,
Read it
another
like a book that
1v1
wasn't a
versus
stick.
Nismo that he rocks. Oh, man.
I mean, that's tough because he didn't charge forward. He just banked that he wasn't sticking the defuse, and he was right.
Yep.
He thought
the
to
second
himself,
time.
this guy has no idea where I am. Surely he doesn't stick it. And, well, he was correct. He didn't panic. He didn't make noise. He didn't, you know, give Nismo the chance. He just played it out. Just kind of hedged his bets and winds up correct. And they're now up 5-0, likely 6-0 on the horizon. And they have all the alts. Literally all the alts.
It is the kitchen
They don't even need
sink.
them. Yeah.
It's the kitchen sink.
I mean, and again, I've never seen Ghost this flat in a series this whole
No.
last couple of months.
I mean, the biggest thing about it is, as initiators and controllers, that's been the primary focus for each composition that Ghost has put together. They find
Yes.
so much value as a team,
Yes.
and it's not there at all. EG is doing
No.
exactly what they were able to do versus Optic, now just essentially keeping them trapped into spawn, and Apoth is searching for an ace. I mean, this is abusive, Dust.
Bruh, this is annihilation. Again, Evil Geniuses have kicked themselves into a whole new gear in these playoffs against Ghost. And again, Ghost is a team that were so impressive through groups, man. So impressive. Again, some people say that cast is kind of a broken stat. And I agree it's a little bit hard because some things can kind of as an assist that it's just like a smoke blocking somebody or like a flash.
It's not an
you know what
be all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel you. Yeah.
But still, when you have 4 of your 5 in the top 7 for cast, that is saying something. Like, that is a level of consistency on how people play off of each other, you know, how you're able to just trade, how you're able to use your utility. And again, the Deaths highlighted this, I think, very effectively and very accurately, that Ghost was a team that prided itself on strategy, on just solid fundamentals, on pacing changes, you know, being able to bring that into the fold. Just so well-rounded, I think, from like a macro perspective on, you know, how they could approach this game. And Evil Geniuses, you know, I think a part of their you know, success was obviously Jawjimo and Boostio being some of the best players in North America, but it was also like some of their creativeness, some of their little quirky plays they'd come up with. You know, but those gimmicks are usually going to get you like a round or two. And while they had solid fundamentals, in my opinion, they did not look from the eye test as polished as Ghost did. Like, when it came to like how well you run your default or how well you train to a side or how fine-tuned your timings are. While EG was certainly growing in those categories, I just thought that Ghost was a little bit superior from the eye test, but that has not been the case this series so far. EG, I mean, some of it has just been like Jawjimo go run and kill people. It has been that, sure. But there's a level of support behind it. And
yes.
there are other conditions available if that fails.
You're getting that out of Reformed and APOTH right now.
Yes.
Reformed in map 1, APOTH here in this map. And that's something that was not evident whatsoever in week 5. So the fact that they've already been able to correct on this is incredible. I mean, look at this. I mean, Jawjimo, key position up top. Spike's already being planted. There's good support and utility around it. It just, honestly speaking, you want to use the word perfection.
Yeah, it has been great, but Nismo laying over here towards long, able to catch one there. That's actually spiked down at the back of A, so hold the phone a second. EG find themselves on the back foot right now, and I don't know how they get the spike back, to be honest. Not with Quad Noob has this position.
Got to be APOTH.
Does catch
APOTH has to open up space mid-map. He's going to be able to get one. Nothing more. On top of that, but Reformed wins a 1v1 over towards A, so now these defenders on the flank are going to feel a little isolated. So Brock will come forward to make sure mid stays clear. Reformed going to stick for some sort of a res, but it's not going to work out for too much. And it looks like Ghost will finally get on the board. Reformed just playing with him a little bit. While happy to shut him down. And yeah, Ghost get up on the board, but it's still so much work that has to be done here from this defensive half.
Yeah, that's one very small step on what has been the Everest climb. It feels like they're going to have to go on here to get things done. But hey, that is at least the start. Operator in Quad Noob's hands. Rifles for the rest. EG, though, we'll see if they keep that pace up. They are going to have that Viper's Pit to be able to, you know, use that to secure a site and post-plant and try to slow Ghost down. Don't let them gain any momentum.
And just for what it's worth, we've talked a lot about EG, obviously. It's well merited considering the start for Ghost. These are rounds that you have to do wonders in because you were so good in these full versus full rounds during the group stage. If you were to put together a solid quote-unquote comeback on this first half, it would have to be in rounds that look like this. Qual Noob from the top side of yellow just misses a bit of timing, but still converts. Huge first blood as Jawjimo falls.
Indeed, and they still have another player at yellow. That's Nismo, so they still have control over long B. He flashes out looking for more, does detect that there are still players there. Now kind of playing a bit of a crossfire as he catches the under 2 push from Boostio, and there's Nismo that you expect to see. The great decision maker, the crafty player that he is, starting to come alive now. Brock able to catch with John QD while trying to come through middle. Good entry from Calm, though, but Nismo continues to hold the ground at long, and finally Ghost starting to find a little bit of footing here, and EG finally starting to get a little bit slowed down. But here's the thing. Desperate. I would expect a timeout soon here from Evil Geniuses to maybe kind of reconsider the tempo a bit, and maybe try to turn the next page on the playbook. I think Ghosts are starting to get a read.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with it. It definitely feels like as far as contesting early, that's where Ghost is going to need to really step up their game, largely speaking, from the playbook side of things. So Reformed, 1v4 situation, not a lot of time on the clock, and with the economy starting to turn around just a touch, you assume that he's going to try to just survive as long as humanly possible. Maybe a 1v1 with Proto here on the backside, though, to finish off the round. And depending on the timing, maybe it's another free kill to kind of keep Ghost at bay, but Reformed is happy to hold his corner.
So now comes the adjustment period, right? I mean, now it's, you know, on EG to maybe figure out, you know, what has Ghost been changing up defensively that we need to try to get around. I mean, seems like Long B starting to be defended a little bit better now by Ghost. So Evil Geniuses aren't going to get that for free anymore. And really, they were getting tons of free space from Jawjimo throughout the early portion of this game. And now they're having to work a little bit harder for it. And so I'm curious if that just means they might slow it down a smidge, maybe play a little bit more just like presence and just try to, you know, kind of spread out a little bit, try to play the split pressure, or do you just send it one more time, you know, with these weapons, which is Icebox is certainly well known for on this A side of the map.
It'll be a tour de force on one side, Blades on the other, as we stay on board with Jawjimo looking to see what he wants to do early. Proto will be the first point of defensive contact if there were to be a charge through. Unless Brock decides he wants to throw some of his utility that direction. Yeah, Proto's not even interested. Says, let the Owl Drone be the defensive presence we need. Jawjimo will delete it and then continue to move on forward. Any opportunities for first bullets? Yeah, sure, but not able to convert on a John, and that's almost all of the knives gone. Maybe one still remaining, but Ghost once again pushed back EG at their initial attempt.
Yeah, trades, though, coming in from EG, even with the less weaponry in a couple of situations, but a Proto able to equalize it back up and hold off the pass, not allow them all the way onto the site. We are seeing EG perhaps considering bouncing back. They have this move from Calm, but it's been detected by the trademark. Koala Noob, though, not really paying mind to it, and so he might get blindsided here, despite his trademark being popped. But now he's holding the angle, watching for that tube press. So a big chance here for Koala Noob to get an edge, but misses. Now smoked off.
For a little bit of support, there's a chance where you can actually push through this if you're Ghost. Maybe cut GG off guard on the rotation. That's indeed the case. Calm will fall. Apoth still looking to set up some presence over towards A, and the spike is actually going to rotate right behind us. This is going to lead to a Pioneer Dust.
Yeah, a little bit of a kind of just making the best out of a terrible situation from EG, being crafty here as they bring the spike back over. They have Apoth holding the screens rotation underneath balcony, and there's still a way forward for EG to win this round. Now, yeah, they are a player down, but they have some good positioning over here towards screens. They just have to worry about, you know, so many angles at once.
An isolated 1v1 comes out, Nismo able to take the dub.
Uh-oh.
Jawjimo did pull knives out, but will be suppressed for a small time. Proto on the long flank. Nismo double challenge from the front, and he's just completely stuck. Or is he? Wait a second. Now gets the dash out. Opportunity maybe to get the angle in favor. Koala Noob holding, playing bodyguard. Nismo holding the spike on the other side, and the 1v1 comes out. Koala Noob takes the dub, and Ghost just like that back to within 3.
It just really came down to that mid interaction, I feel like, right? I mean, they detect Calm trying to make that play through kitchen with the trademark. They're able to hold him coming back through tube. They're able to catch him inside the poison orb at middle with the shorty. And while EG were able to kind of bounce their way into a plant A, they still use their man advantage in the flank to be able to come out on top. That's now 3 in a row for Ghost. So finally finding a place in this first half, finally slowing down the machine that is Evil Geniuses, and now they are taking that time out to kind of reconsider what they want their attacking strategy to be. And honestly, I would like to maybe see them just tone it down just a smidge. You know, just be a little more patient in some of these situations.
The thing that's really been a difference maker so far is, in terms of Ghost getting advantages in these early rounds, largely has been off of Nismo. The fact that he's able to get these 0 points for information or using some utility to create a little bit of early space. I think the big question mark is, how does EG counter that? Do you just allow Nismo to throw utility for free, and then you just essentially play full site retake and not use your early real estate that you've had kind of the luxury of using every single round in your first 6? Or I think that's got to be the large majority of the conversation here for EG, because that's the advantage that Ghost have off the composition, is that, hey, you've got a KO, you've got an extra set of flashes than EG does.
I think it's just about using that owl drone to discover where that opper is. You know, if he's playing top yellow or playing at long B, start droning him out. Don't give him free initial picks to slow your attack down. And then I think from there, it's just, again, you don't have to hedge your bets on these quick pushes and then try to, like, scrap together something in the mid round. I think they can kind of, again, just tone it down a little bit, get back to basics, and, you know, just kind of squeeze their way into these rounds.
Quick presence established for EG. Over through green. Recon Dart will allow them to clear and move a little bit further forward, trying to put some threat over towards yellow, but look at Ghost aggressively through the A site. Trademark is in the way.
Yep. Trademark will detect this, and Busio is indeed watching for it right now at the headhunter.
I'm a good shot.
And he's able to connect there onto Nismo, and he's even looking for perhaps a second player. He does seem to have the idea that there might be more. He would be right, but that's a big kill for a res from John QT.
You can just see the chaos for Apoth. Look left, look right, look left, look right. The rest of his teammates in the front, able to get a spike down, and Apoth very well able to at least take down one more off the flank. The problem about this is a scattered buy for EG. And now into a 2v3 with just a Sheriff and a Stinger. How do you defend this spike? And Reformed will give us at least some sort of an offer. This is going to play a corner. The timing of this peak may work out, not quite the case. Shock darts on the way through. That'll chip away some of the damage, but it has to be good, glorious pistol shots, and it will not happen 4 rounds in a row for Ghost.
Yeah, they are marching back forward on this map at a rapid pace. Again, EG did tone it down a little bit that round. They took Long B quickly. They, you know, kind of sat back once they had the recon bolt come out and make sure that yellow was clear. Then they kind of came up on there with that wall to push to the backside of B side. So it was a little bit down pace. They caught onto the flank, but again, I think John Cutie getting the frag and getting the res was just so huge for Ghost on that A push to give them an advantage back on the retake. Jojimo also limited to just 1 frag, I believe, up top, so really helped Ghost find their footing back. But EG still able to full buy here, have a couple of key ults in play as well at Viper's Pit and the Hunter's Fury, so definitely still pose a big threat in this round. But look at this. That's been a big difference, too. Quality's had a couple of big opening sniper frags in some of these rounds that Ghost have been stringing together. They didn't have early on.
Yeah, it's EG just essentially walking forward into these positions, not using utility as you were talking about to try to clear off those opening angles. So it's almost as if Ghosts are sitting there saying, we'll beat your aggression with our aggression, at least in certain regards.
If you're going to give him free angles, he's going to take them. Yeah. He's been successful with it on multiple fronts. Jojimo, though, back onto the full entry, able to get that frag onto a Proto, and they're going to be able to get this spike moved into B site before the rotation can get there. Or at least it appears that way in this 4-on-4, and indeed, there's the plants. Hunter's Fury might look to disrupt.
And Quality was actually in a pretty good position to try to convert off of this, making sure there's no exits back towards yellow. So this is good information for Ghost, not just because you've got the numbers at a 4v3, but you should know that no one's on the backside of yellow. So when it comes to breaking down this post plant, your intel on where it's set up should be solid. The question now is, can you convert off that information? EG playing very reserved on the backside of this, likely using
relying on a
Hunter's Fury. First shots come through. Reformed now from the front, has to find something. Nothing will happen, and Calm is just way out of the play. Hunter's Fury good for some damage, but no problem for Nismo and the rest of the team to get the defuse.
Yeah, Apoth got caught before he could drop any snake bites on the spike. The combo with that Hunter's Fury going to try to come up with the win. And again, I think the scary thing about that is you have Apoth playing a mid lurk while he has Pit. Like, I think you need him in the mix, controlling B site, dropping the Pit down to make that retake more labored than it was. I mean, they were able to get all the space through spawn that they wanted because there's no Pit down to, you know, make it tough on them to pave their way forward. So I don't like the idea of Apoth playing that mid lurk with snake bites when he has Pit available. I think that was a little bit of a misstep, but maybe they can put it together here on this final round. But again, you got to give credit to Ghost to just build this thing back from 0-6 down to now maybe going to tie this thing up before the second half starts.
A good look at Proto as he will get the orb to earn him the defensive Viper's Pit, which will be the barrier between EG and this A site to start. EG are still kicking, especially over the top of it, and old Jojimo collapse over a double, but they're able to flush out Proto at the same moment, so all of the defensive presence for Ghost immediately foiled, and EG can set up for a post plant.
They do have that Viper's Pit available, which will get dropped now. Barrier Orb also enforcing this plant, and they have the 4-on-2 man count, so literally everything going their way.
Oh, but Quality to the back. Shuts down Calm, so now a potential pinch play in the mix. But how do you move further forward if you're Koala, especially with the Viper's Pit in your way? You have to get a 1v1 towards his left. Shots missed from Boostio! Uh-oh, and then the reveal comes out! Oh, it's all gone wrong! It's just down to 1 below! Reform can do nothing! And Ghost sneak away a 2v4 post plant dust to get us to 6-6!
That is unbelievable, man. I can't believe EG have dropped the ball on that one. They had everything going their way with man count, with ults, with positioning, but somehow, some way, Ghost march forward into a tie. What a wild ride. We'll see how it concludes after a short break.
It was a tremendous start for Evil Geniuses on what is their map pick here of Icebox. 6 in a row. Immediately counter, though, after a key timeout at a Ghost. Gets us to a 6-6 half. We swap the sides. And once again, we start to throw questions into what is the identity and tempo of this half going to look like here, Dust.
Yeah, this is an interesting game, that's for sure. I mean, you start with the Breeze upset from Evil Geniuses, and you start with them just bulldozing forward on the attack to kick things off, but Ghost have equalized, but it's back to pistols for EG. Their strength as a team throughout the group stage has been these very rounds. Chance to get the early lead back, perhaps.
Oh, and look at Evil Geniuses. They've beat the timing of some of this utility to keep possession of Yellow. Everyone's so worried about Reform, they forget about what possibly could be in the backside of Yellow. Oh, it's so good from EG. 3-for-1 goes the exchange. John trying to get out and will be able to extend his life, but another flawless opening to this pistol from EG.
Yeah, that's a way to kick yourself back into gear after coughing up a 6-0 lead, is to just come back to, you know, your bread and butter pistol rounds and find it. As this trademark will detect Ghost trying to come back through to Kitchen. They have 2 to a site, so they have basically their tabs on everything. You know, they're not going to have anything pulled out from underneath them. Just got to hold their ground, as it looks like there is going to be a mid push, but Calm holding the angle, waiting for it. Doesn't overcommit.
All you need. It's all you need. Information. Keep him at bay. Don't drop another 2v4 if you're Evil Geniuses. Boost over the top. Not going to quite work out. John was hoping to have a teammate with him, but Proto flips off the edge, and Calm will finish him in this place. No problem. EG, I hate to keep saying it, but there's a reason why they're #1 in pistol, and we've seen it now. 3 out of the 4 rounds.
I mean, they're crushing it. They have definitely kept that a constant. Coming over from the group stage, no doubt about that. Now they will be able to buy up on the back of that. Spectre's a Plenty, Sheriff for Boostio, Marshall for Jawjamo. No real investment here from Ghost. Maybe some utility at best, but certainly not looking to pick up any weapons, and so EG should be able to waltz into an 8-6.
Similar setup here for EG around green. The difference this time is that there is a second member in the form of Boostio that's looking to play a bit of a trading cross angle, and it's going to work out. Wants to force a second gunfight, not quite able to connect, but first blood is more than enough for EG.
Yep, gets away with that Headhunter. Retreats back into sight. Jawjamo now gets aggressive over towards the middle. It's going to spot Koala Noob and does hit him pretty hard there with the Marshall. Meanwhile, Boostio still holding angles on sight, has some support as well from Reformed. And Calm, who's made the rotation over. So everything, again, covered well by EG. Not really giving Ghost an easy time getting onto site and getting a spike down, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is really well done from EG. You back off just enough to essentially invite Ghost into the toxic screen coverage, hoping that you can maybe force them into open positions. Now the utility's starting to really come to life for EG. Screen goes back up, but Reform moves forward. No problem there. 4 for Reform. It's a prime gaining flaws for the first time in this series, at least, for EG.
Yeah, been a very scrappy series, that's for sure, but that time EG comes out on top flawlessly. But now here's the buyout from Ghost, who, again, is the best team at winning when they have economic advantage, and so that's really key on these first gun rounds, to be able to, you know, try to flex that, not allow there to be too much separation. The thing is, I'll say, though, is while Ghost came into these playoffs, again, the best team at winning when they have economic advantage, we've seen a lot of 4-0 starts from EG this series, and so I think that's been a huge thing that's really helped out EG in this best of 3.
Yeah, and those adjustments we really do see kind of be evident by way of the stats for groups versus what we're getting kind of numerically in these first couple of maps out of EG, at least for now. First blood, though, tallied for Ghost on this offense. Boostio the one to fall. So a little bit of extra pressure here from EG's defense, as you won't have the blanket of not only the ability to kind of rendezvous back, but no trademarks will be able to help kind of watch over these sites. But that said, Dust, EG are taking a step forward. It's going to work out great.
And he gets the Vandal. And he gets away with really no stress put on him. Again, there's a 3-man defense from EG already on B site, ready to go, while mid still continues to be patrolled by Jawjamo. Good entry, though, from Koala Noob. Will start kind of taking some of that away. Calm kind of gets caught with his pants down a little bit there, trying to throw off a recon bolt. Now it's all on Jawjamo. Gets a kill, but still has a 1v3 ahead of him.
Keeps the high ground the whole way. Post plant setup largely through yellow, with John watching the cross. Jawjamo's going to have to hit an unbelievable shot. Sees the first peek. Tags come out, but then the remaining Ghost post plant comes to life, and it's quality with 4 in the round as Ghost able to respond and keep it tight.
Indeed, they are not allowing EG to have the crazy start to the half this time, keeping things close. A little bit dicey early on with the mid push from Jawjamo, but Ghost able to come onto site and trade out really well. Tom getting caught off guard there on the timing. And pretty much a clean sweep from that point forward from Ghost as they are on the verge of tying this thing right back up. EG, though, have the op in Boostio's hands and full rifles everywhere else. So this is a big swing round potential here.
Tour de Force comes out on the opposite side. Boostio still holding for an early angle, but the 0 point will force him to have to back off. And that'll be Ghost now moving forward in through green. With a little bit of presence here at Tube, this definitely could turn into something, but you have to assume that the large majority of this focus is to what can you find at an opening over towards the A site. But Quality, actually, careful here. You could get trapped out. Recon Bolt not going to find much. The spam comes out. Proto's weak, but Ghost will survive.
Yeah, he was trying his best to try to make sure that they thought it was just him there and that a Proto was not a part of this picture. A Proto, though, still winds up being a casualty of some damage, but still holds that 2 presence, watching to see if anyone will peek it. As Ghost is really trying to implement mid quite a lot here early on this attacking side, which, again, it's kind of a spot on the map that attacking teams often kind of gloss over other than maybe lurking it late, or they just kind of focus on the site hits. We are indeed seeing the hit come into play right now. Boostio forced off of the angle, allowing Ghost to take control of the site and start getting the spike down. Jojimo trying to spot something around this toxic screen. Actually does find out Brock.
The spike gets planted. So can this post plant for Ghost survive? Largely off of, we have to imagine, Quality hitting a shot, and he's going to get his knees taken off by Boostio. Proto now through the middle of the map. Defensive wall comes down, but Nismo challenges it early. That'll stop this retake, at least initially, but not well enough. As the trades are very quick to come through, and it's EG. Now back to within 2, up to 9-7.
Yeah, really well done there from EG. Even when they were getting threatened on all fronts and getting pushed back and not really getting those initial duels that they were looking for, kept their wits about them and able to break through in the end. I mean, such a crazy shot from Jojimo into Brock through kind of like this little crack in the toxic screen he was trying to use for a little bit of intel. I don't know if he maybe caught just a little bit of vision on Brock to get the read that he could spam through. Either way, that was the catalyst that the team needed to start bulldozing through and extending that lead to 9-7. And if they win this round, Ghost run out of economy. This is such a dangerous round for Ghost.
Absolutely is. Especially with the rounds getting limited as far as how many there's going to be to play with here.
They're getting slowed down so hard.
Early, that's going to be fine. Even the knife is going to get deleted. This is lack of information. The null command is going to be sent out blindly by Nismo. And the defense is here. They're ready for this 100%, but it's going to be even exchange. Nismo down. Can you keep him down? That's the real question. Do you challenge this in concert? Sure, why not? He gets 2. Nismo brought back to life, but the damage has been dealt.
And there was an even bigger gap this time on the toxic screen on the top-hand side, and Comp absolutely exposes it, denying the res. Actually, Nismo does get brought up, but still at such a heavy cost. There's still a man down. They're worried about getting pushed through kitchen now as well, because they do not have info there any longer. And this is getting very dangerous, and now Com finds out Koala.
Oh, man. What a key difference maker Com has been in so many of these clutch-up moments. He'll get the benefit of 4 in the round, and all of the setup that you were talking about when it comes to building a dire conversation towards Ghost is now immediately here. Down 7-10, they'll be on pistols.
It's just this toxic screen's getting abused by EG. The fence, look at this. That's such a big gap. They had no idea he would have that type of pull, and while the res comes out, again, at such a big cost with the crack there. The flank for Claude gets red inside tube. I mean, EG just have everything dialed in. And now they have Ghost on a low buy.
Oh, boy. Now maybe a little bit of speed from EG, but Jojimo will hold. And Ghost are going to run right towards Boostio. At least in some regard. How do you open up space and get him off this angle? That has to be the consideration here for Ghost. They're going to wait a little while longer. There's the 0 point. First shot connects, though. Jojimo next beat. No problems there. And Ghost down. Can do nothing.
And now the flash comes in as well to further put the pressure on them, not allow them to get this spike. Jojimo comes forward and then backs off. Again, just not allowing them to get in for free. Rez comes in as well for A-Pop, and now here comes the wrecking crew. Jojimo, the tip of the spear, looking for his 4th. As it's just Nismo in the back, and he will go down to the shorty, and that is 11 for EG. 1 away from map and series point to knock Ghost down to the lower bracket. What a
Jojimo's, I mean, he's just doing Jojimo things, brother.
He really is.
Dude,
He really is.
Holy.
I mean,
Look
again,
at the help this time. I think that's the biggest key.
Sure.
It's not just a refunding success from John. He's getting so much help from Apoth and Com.
Yeah, it was reformed in the first map that was having a hell of
Yeah.
a time, and now APOS come up huge on this map. So yeah, the supporting cast has definitely been there. But again, the talk of a lot of the group stage was kind of this battle between Jawjimo and Nismo for the top. I mean, these guys are neck and neck in so many different categories when it comes to things like ACS and KPR and ADR and all those, and stats you really kind of look at to see individual impact and dueling and how they're able to come up with those key impact frags to make things happen. And it really has been Jawjimo really kind of maintaining that pace in these playoffs, whereas Nismo had a couple of cold starts, if we're honest. Qualanoob certainly had his moments throughout this map up to 16. He's definitely been there. But not only that, but again, EG just look like they've kind of hit like that next level. Like they look a lot more polished in the groups, in my opinion. And they weren't even bad in groups, but it just looks like they fine-tuned things even more.
I think the biggest reason why is that it's not just off raw aggression or heroic moments where Boostio is kind of solo locking down sites. It's been in the form of how they beat Optic, which is stopping Ghost from getting even the first step forward. They've stopped them on initiation and control battles. It feels like almost every single time, especially from the defensive lens. Oh, this slow arm is going to cause so many problems as Com immediately follows up with the Hunter's Fury, and that's a great first blood. Brock tried to respond, but this is blind, and it's missing.
It is. Koala, though, catches Reform, still trying to peek, and so while this has been stalled for some time, over at Long B, eventually Ghost are able to break through. Koala, though, on such low health, and John Kitty's not allowed to heal him, so that is going to make him a vulnerable target for later. In the meantime, Jawjimo pushes down through middle, finds that very vulnerable target I was referring to, getting main advantage back for EG, and they have them pinched now at Long.
Flash comes out. Com peeks through it, and why not? Oh my goodness, Evil Geniuses, what have you done? Stealing away Ghost's pick and now just complete dominance through Icebox.
It's just a tough spot that EG has put Ghost in that Long B because they're playing this deep barrier orb. And if you're Ghost, you don't want to allow him just to settle in with that because that just means he can anchor it and then they can just heavy stack A in middle and then you bouncing back is going to become a problem, right? So they want to contest that wall right away with the Owl Drone, spamming it down. But the issue is while they're putting so much focus on that, Jawjimo's been able to come through middle multiple times now throughout this game and be a real nuisance. And eventually he just kind of pinched him on B. They had no fallback option.
Man. What a night and day difference from week 5 to this first playoff match for EG. Owl Drone denied. Ghost still looking to move forward, at least initially. And how about EG once again going to meet them at the front doors? They actually get completely missed by the 0 point, but it made not much of a difference because Quality will get the first 2 entries. Com looking to hold off. Resurrection coming out, and that will force Com to peek. Boostio to try to follow up, but he's going to have to hit more than just the first shot, and he'll be pushed off the angle.
Yeah, Ghost able to kind of weather the storm. Able to get this wall down and put the spike in play. It's just Boostio and Reform trying to retake 2 versus 4. 1 up top from Raptors. Here comes that screens rotation from Reformed. Boostio trying to catch vision, try to create that opening. It's just not been there, though, as Nismo will find it. He's just good for 1 as John QT will keep Ghost lingering in this map, but they still have such a tough road forward to force the overtime, to force a map 3. We have just not really, I mean, they strung together 6 in a row in the first half to come back and tie things up, but more often than not, they haven't really had that consistency in the series to really build something, to really make the full push to take a map.
And the bank is just so healthy for EG. I mean, they're going to be able to afford for the next 3 rounds. So Ghost have to be more than convincing here if they were to try to get this thing to an overtime.
Let's play.
Early little boost for Jawjimo. Reform there to support to make sure he doesn't have to worry about any
Oh my.
openings. And oh my, no intel's going to sneak this out whatsoever. And Jawjimo will be happy just to burst back into the safety of the defensive side of the site in a 5v4.
He's gotten away with so much this series, man. Just
Absolute murder.
every time he's gone for a play like that, he seemingly never gets caught. And that's really been a part of Ghost's downfall, I feel like, throughout this series. It's just not being able to pick up on that at times. We are going to see Brock still trying to push forward anyhow, still trying to put the pressure on the site, but not able to find the pick. EG playing very disciplined at the backside of A, not giving a little too much. Boostio pressures middle, but doesn't stay around more than he's welcomed.
Knives largely get extended. Oh, Qualinoob gives away his position by way of the long barrel of the Tour de Force. It doesn't make too much of a difference. He's actually able to find a kill over the Com. Oh, how about this aggressive play out of Qualinoob? It's not going to work out, though. Last hope is the Proto. He gets caught at the top, but he still finds the opening double to this. It'd be a 1v4.
Oh,
and he
my
should know that
goodness.
Boostio is lingering on the rafters. The question will be, where
30
is
seconds
Apoth?
left.
He has no idea. Viper's Pit, though, will help him along. But uses it as a fake to catch Apoth out. And now he has a 1v1. Spike is inside the pit. He can play around it. Boostio is looking the right way, but can't win the fight anyhow. And what a play from a Proto to save the day. Oh my goodness, that is nasty. I mean, talk about a heroic moment for the Red Bull clutch here.
I mean, the fact that he even gets down from the top of Jenny's in the first place is a borderline miracle, but you called this perfectly. You bait out the Viper's Pit, read where Apoth was, and he was the only one that was kind of a miss in the entirety of that, the full clutch moment. So now all of a sudden, everyone can still afford for Ghost, and maybe there's a chance with that clutch to get this to a 2-round game.
That could be the breath of fresh air that Ghost needs. Still need 3 more, though, to force the overtime, and EG still have the full buy here with Boostio having Tour de Force. Double sniper set up with Jajimo, also on an operator playing A side of the map. Boostio dodging that owl drone, gets a good angle here.
I think Nismo gets the information that he's here. Yeah, it is able to avoid the 0 point, but again, he's pushed off the angle early. The question will be, how do you continue this play forward, though, for Ghost? Because even though they get control over Green, getting onto site has largely been the bigger problem. Oh my goodness! Boostio saw a pixel of Nismo. Ends up turning into a headshot wallbang. He's not done! He's not done! A second comes through, and he's still going to hold his ground. He's got good help, and why not? If he's hitting shots like this. Oh, and the easy one is the one that he missed.
Yeah, that's a tough one. He hit some impressive ones, only to miss that one a little bit anticlimactic, I guess you could say, but he's still done well to wedge something into the side of Ghost, and now Com will build off of that. It's a 3-on-2 Spike, still yet to go down this B side.
Reformed is close. Com playing deep. Information on the Com as he does get a little bit of a peek over to the backside, but Reformed looking to play for an exit off of the plant. John, the opposite side will connect. Now it's just down to John. Any heroics out of you? Good read on where Com is positioned. Takes the 1v1, but it's Jajimo from the side. And it's Evil Geniuses into a matchup that so many people thought Ghost was going to have arguably maybe no problem with how tactfully sound they've been. But EG set their tempo, their pace, and how about it, Dust? We could just go ahead and say it. They beat Ghost at their own game.
Yeah, and they did it in such a crazy way. They snap an 18-game winning streak from Ghost on Breeze. Then they come into Icebox, which is a strong map for them, but it's a map that Ghost don't mind playing in their own right. Have had success on it in their last few games, and they just, again, they looked like they've taken just another step in their development as a team. And it's been beautiful to watch them throughout the groups kind of come up with these cool little plays here and there and combine that with some nice basics. But here we saw them just take it even further, I feel like, with some of the things that they were coming up with, some of their aggressive setups on both sides of the map. Jajimo continues to be a star. I mean, incredible play from Evil Geniuses through and through.
Just shut down has to be the name of the game, I think, largely for EG. Never letting Ghost even get an attempt, it felt like, comfortably towards any of the sites on either of the two maps. And what could probably be labeled as our first major surprise has not taken long to start to really amount here for the NA VCT playoffs. Send things to a break. The desk will be there to recap the day. We'll see you at the break. Don't go too far.
Impressive 2-0 victory. EG stomps out Ghost despite all of the praise about Ghost's success during the group stages. EG again come in as the underdogs and again find the win.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses just continue to impress, and we knew that these were two of like our more. I feel like these are two of like the smartest teams we have in terms of like how they play out their games and the strategies within it. I think EG showed more of that again today, specifically on this Icebox map after taking down on Breeze. They looked very solid on both sides of the map, and I am very excited to see them get a rematch against Optic.
It looked like you wanted to say something for a second, but I too am excited to see what they're going to do against that Optic roster. As again, that was a surprise victory when it happened the first time. I don't think anyone had them pegged as the team to potentially beat them. Looking at that series, though, you got to put a highlight on Jaw. He played absolutely out of his mind.
Yeah, I mean, he played out of his mind, but consistently, this guy, I think, has been one of the best dive players, one of the best duelists that we have here in the league. And it's not just because he has the big stat, big number, better player. We all know that. That's obvious. But beyond that, it's the amount of just dedication he has on the execute. He's pretty much fearless in just diving in off his team, and he has really a huge amount of rounds where he's able to stay alive, not only create that space for his team, but sustain, allow that spike to come on down on the attacking side. And on the defense, he's never really overcommitting in the early round. He's able to get early value while still kind of staying alive, keeping utility towards the retake.
Yeah, this is a guy that, like, he's always going to find so much value. He's going to be able to close the gap, you know, play with his teammates well, and, like, clear so much space. We've seen it on so many maps on his Raze in particular. I think his Raze is even better than his Jet. His movement on that agent is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is a guy that, even though he's never had a huge spotlight on him, I think he would perform well on the international level. Like, he could stack up against some of the better divers in the world.
One of the things we love about this EG roster, too, and we talked about it coming into today, was just the nerdiness. They, like, geek out so hard, especially on a map like Icebox. And we saw that during the group stages as well. I mean, this team just is, like, mega geeky with their preparation.
They have a lot of, like, the one-off gimmick plays. And I know that can sometimes get painted as a bad thing, that you have, like,
check
just
out
funny
that wall.
gimmicks. But in this one, it works really well. They have this cool wall that they put up towards Raptors. No one really does this, so it's an angle that you're not used to clearing. And, well, they hold up top. Jajimo is able to get value off that position. It's also blocking off the angle and
check out this, by the way. So this is another one real quick. So it was hard to tell, but there was like there was a suppress coming in a 1v3 from Jaw, where he right-clicks away his knives, knowing he's going to get suppressed. So he's here to farm ult orbs. He's like, look, knives coming back up doesn't mean anything. I have a Phantom anyways. So it's those very, very small things that are so cool. He loses the round, but it's about those small min-maxes that EG is always trying to optimize.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's not even necessarily like they have a great coach, they have a great IGL. We kind of paint that narrative for a lot of teams, but for EG, it is that, but it's also they have these moments of just individual brilliance where they think of these ideas either in the middle of games or some of it is pre-planned, and it works so well for them. The micro is just incredibly impressive.
Because even that, like, or the top B site plant where they spammed through the tube, they said after that wasn't some preset play.
It was on the
fly. They just came up with that on the fly. That is ridiculous.
Yes.
As we take a look at the Prime Gaming post-match highlights, too, you'll see a lot of that because, like you mentioned, it's not just being well-versed as a team, it's also being well-versed individually. And we saw some highlights specifically looking at Apoth on this first map. I feel like Apoth definitely stepped up big for the team for EG.
Yeah, he was able to find a lot of really great lurk timings. I think we saw that throughout Breeze. Multiple different players able to find the punishment, especially with, like, walking up in towards halls. And again, I don't think that EG, like, monstrously outmatched Ghost State. I think this was a good series even in a 2-0.
Yeah.
And Evil Geniuses have a lot to be proud of, but it's also not completely over for Ghost.
No, it isn't. And I think map number one for Ghost as well, they had some good ideas. It was a great game out of Kuala-Nu, but EG edged ahead. The defensive side as well for Ghost, once we switch on over, I think they had a great understanding of how to play this map properly. We were really complaining in that first match on Icebox that no one's double flanking, no one's really leaning into the map identity, and it was so good for Ghost Gaming. Unfortunately, again, it's about EG being excellent at adapting on the fly, bringing out those little ideas, shutting down plays, and winning out in another one of these upsets.
Strong performance for EG as they picked up a big win. This was a huge play from a Proto to keep Ghost alive, but ultimately they couldn't stem the bleeding because those individual plays were matched sometimes on the other end. Even this final round, some of that performance coming in from Boostio to kick things off. It's just EG looking lights out.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no idea how he finds that head at the end right there. Evil Geniuses on individual level showed really strong play throughout the day, and I don't know. I feel like this bottom side of the bracket, it hurts that we had to see EG versus Ghost so early on because these teams are sick.
Well, we do have our interview standing by, and we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to our analysts for now. We'll welcome in Calm for the Verizon post-match interview as EG picks up a big win here to kick off their debut in the playoffs. Calm, I got to say, man, this feels like it's a long time coming because of the fact that you've had your career kind of go up and down a little bit in the Valorant scene, and now you're finding success with EG. It's got to feel good.
Oh yeah, it feels amazing. I mean, it's a huge win for us, and it can't be even more blessed with like the best teammates in the world, honestly.
It also feels like it's a long time coming because I feel like I have crossed paths with you going back many years now. So to see you here and I get to interview is actually quite a treat. Now, coming into VCT, at the start, you guys were underdogs. Pretty much every match you played, you were not the favored team. It's largely due to the fact that EG struggled in Stage 1. Do you feel like that's fair, that people kind of doubted what you guys were capable of bringing to the table?
I don't think that is fair. I mean, we're a different team than what they showed last stage, I guess. And we just have different players. We have a different morale. We have one of the best IGLs in NA and Busio. Like, there's just a different vibe with this team than it was before, and I think people need to start putting respect on our name.
Talking about Busio as the IGL as well, you know, this is kind of the first time he's been put into a position like this. What is the structure like with EG that allows Busio to shine alongside some of the veteran leadership you have in Potter, who's behind the scenes kind of working with you guys in the coach angle?
I mean, it's just being comfortable in your roles and being self-sufficient, right? Where Busio is super self-sufficient in the chamber op, and whenever he's focused on the game, I always try to help him pick it up with the mid-rounding. It's whatever they need, I will try to fill in the gap, or someone will fill in the gap. And that's what is different about this team than a lot of other teams.
Now, one of the things that I actually love about EG is the fact that you guys have so many supportive parents. I know that's a weird thing to like, but your parents are super supportive. We see them on social tweeting out all the time. And obviously Bustio's parents are big on the support train as well for EG. How does that affect how you guys prepare for the maps, knowing you have that level of love and support backing you up?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, like, having my parents and everyone back home just watching the games and being there, and just like, you know, just after every match, you always get a text that says, nice try, or you did amazing, you know? Like, it's just something that I feel like is needed as an esport player, definitely for your mental. And I don't know, I can't be ever more thankful for my support.
One last question before I go. You guys now have a rematch against Optic. You found blood against Optic during the group stages. How confident do you feel in this rematch that you're going to be able to do that again?
Oh, very confident. I mean, we deserve to be that #1 seed. It's time to take it from them.
Love to hear it. Congratulations on the win again as you guys pick up an absolutely huge dub to kick things off here for VCTNA.
Thank you so much.
As we bring the analysts back in from the doldrums on the flanks, yeah, they're back. And I got to say, I still just love that whole parent support system that's in place, because I grew up in an era of gaming where it's like, don't you play games, they're not going to lead you anywhere. And now you have these teams who are like, there's mom and dad are actually at the facility watching you play. You're getting texts from friends. Like, that's totally different than what I'm used to.
I don't know. I'd be like, Mom, Dad, get out of the room. Let me play. Let me focus.
Yeah. If I get a text from my mom after every game that I underperform as a pro player, it adds to sadness. You have Twitch, you have Twitter on there, and then your mom's like, you know, maybe you should go back to playing the Jet.
Yeah, right. Could you imagine mom and dad actually offer up not just support, but maybe some advice?
Some coaching on the side.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit different. But we do have our AIM Lab flick of the day ready. And what play other than that last play on the last map from A Proto?
Oh
that
God.
Ridiculous 1v4 clutch. You were freaking out in the green room. You're like, flick of the day, flick of the day.
Well, I was also joking. I'm like, yeah, Proto, he loves to be in the 1v4 situation. You know, he always wins these. And then he actually started doing it. It was absolutely insane, because this is already when Ghost were on match point. It was all going down. He gets the first 2 kills very early on, but now he's got to worry about an op player up on Rafter. Apoth is over towards screens, and he has to get the spike, but he makes the really smart decision after, hold on a second, my man got robbed. What?
All right, well, show's over.
Here it is. We're back. We got it. Here we go. So he drops Seal, doesn't even go for the spike. We actually did miss 1 kill in that one, but going up there and removing the operator. Thank you so much. We get to see this twice to really show you just how sweet it was. Because again, everyone's expecting him to be going for the spike off of that pit. It's a very smart play on top of very crispy aim to find the head here before the op shot comes out. Very nicely done in the 1v4.
And it feels like so many of these rounds were just like 1 step away for Ghost. Like, if that happens a little bit earlier, if we can change the tide slightly, I think there's a world where Ghost could have maybe come back and found something through. This team is known for the insane clutches. We had John QT with like the 0.00 second clutch last week. Now Proto pulling out with this one. Even in loss, I mean, Ghost is still looking to take names.
NA Proto was the one player who came into this with some semblance of experience playing at this level. The rest of the team was relatively new to playing at this level, and it's also a player who's been praised for his mechanics going back to even when he was playing Cypher and he was just like a head-clicking god. So it's no surprise to see him win a 1v4, but the fact that he does it at that point in the game, huge moment for them. Unfortunately, it's not enough to keep Ghost alive. As we take a look in just a moment at the playoff bracket, we'll see how things shape up now, as we've seen teams drop down into that dangerous and deadly lower bracket.
Yeah, and if we're going to continue tracking Ghost Gaming, remember, a spot for LCQ is on the line. So again, life isn't over for them in this one just yet, but if they get 7th or 8th place, LCQ hopes scattered. So they have to beat NRG to stay alive in the race for LCQ.
Yeah, at this one, I feel like we're just trying to sell you something. We're going to buy in. It's $9.99, 3 installments to be able to watch Luminosity FaceCon. It's a good game.
Sign me up for the pyramid scheme.
Yes, you can join yourself pretty soon here. Yeah, but for Luminosity, they're coming in hot against a FaZe Clan who has been looking incredibly impressive, pushing 100 Thieves to the limit there. I think that despite starting down below, Luminosity still has a very good chance of taking that one home, and NRG as well. I wouldn't expect them to win that, but they found some surprises for us.
And then I'm looking at those upper bracket games as well. We get XSET versus 100 Thieves and Optic versus EG. Both rematches.
Exactly.
100 Thieves beat XSET and EG beat Optic.
Yeah.
So both teams coming in from the quarterfinals ironically beat the higher seed teams who are waiting for them in the upper semis.
Yeah, and again, winning that match for either of these teams puts you in the upper final. So you only need to win 2 series to get yourself into Copenhagen, to get yourself into the grand final. So there is a lot on the line for these teams the next couple days.
Speaking of the next couple days as well, we can take a look at the schedule just to see how those matches are going to break down, which matches we're going to be seeing, and when they're going to be seen.
I actually forgot.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to be our lower bracket games, as we've got NRG and Ghost first, LG versus FaZe in the follow-up. Again, that's lower bracket, so winner moves on, loser goes home. XSET versus 100 Thieves will be the next day. That'll be on Saturday, and Optic versus EG. That will decide our teams in the upper bracket finals. That's a top 4 secured spot. That's what we were hoping Ghost would have gotten into, but unfortunately we're unable to find success in their opener.
Yeah, it's crazy to think we already have eliminations coming up on day 2 of playoffs. That format in the groups really meant that every single game mattered. So NRG, LG, just like 1 game difference, they could have found themselves in a much better position, but now they're immediately fighting for their lives.
It's wild too, because LG was a team that had such good success during the groups. Ghost is another team that had such good success during the groups.
Yeah.
And now they're like right here because of the way the action broke down across the last few weeks, just where it ended up introducing teams to areas that maybe we didn't expect to see them. We thought EG could be a #1 seed. LG was in contention for a #1 seed spot. And then all these final matches happened over the last 2 weeks of group stages, and everything kind of goes into turmoil.
Look, I feel like we've been saying it for the last few weeks at least. Like, competition in NA is so fierce right now. It is so tight between all these teams. Anyone can really win on the day it feels. So I'm glad we have double elimination, because this bracket is pure chaos, and it's only going to continue.
Well, that does wrap things up for us here for day 1 of NA playoffs. We've got more action coming your way tomorrow. Same time, same place. We hope to see you then.
Yeah.